This is ZNS Network. ZNS Network. ZNS Network. Bahamas.
What's the secret of change? We don't fight the old. Instead, we focus on building the new. Welcome to the table of change. Come on in and have a seat at our table.
It's another Tuesday night. It's Table of Change tonight. It's May 20th, 2025. Guys, we are ready. We're ready to serve. Guess what we are serving tonight? Better service, better future. Serve with purpose. Transforming service one act at a time. That's what we're serving. Pull up your chair. Get your fork, your knife, your cup. Bring everything along. Your popcorn, whatever you want is being served here tonight. Let's do it. Bahamas, tomorrow. Are you feeling it?
I'm feeling it, Jackie, and always because of you, I got to feel it. Even if I don't believe it, I got to feel it. I thank you for feeding me with that energy. Ooh. But guess what's in my cup tonight, Jackie?
What's in your cup?
I have some orange peel tea with some nice honey.
Oh, it sounds good, baby.
My soul is being fed, and I'm depending on you tonight to really feed my soul. But tonight, here on Table of Change, Jackie and I, we've been going back and forth in terms of customer service. And last week, Jackie, when we talked about evaluation and evaluating ourselves, we both came to the conclusion of let's do a little evaluation of the show. In terms of what we're doing here. What are we trying to achieve? What is our purpose of Table of Change and just customer service? So tonight, we're just going to remind our listeners about what is the purpose. What are we here every Tuesday? What are we trying to accomplish? What do we want to achieve? And get a listen to the pulse of the people. So make sure call in. We need you to call in at 325-5403 or Family Islands 300-8255. And I know some of you prefer to give your questions in via Zoom. So let me just remind you of that ID, 815-4776-1341. The ID, 815-4776-1341. And the password, 759112. Because you always have the option to call in, or you can listen in via Zoom to put your questions in. But Jackie.
Yeah, I'm here, girl.
In terms of doing the evaluation of the show, and thinking about where we're at, I just felt like it would be remiss if we don't talk about how did this brainchild come into your heart in terms of Table of Change and customer service?
I think it was birthed because of what I went through in the workplace. Many of the workplaces where I had the opportunity to work, most times the customer, they became my only friends. They were the ones that kept me going. They're the ones that kept a smile on my face. So I'm thinking because I connected with them, because, sometimes you have the little things that's happening around you and you just have to find a silver lining, and they were my silver lining. So I don't care how they came. They came old, poor, smelly, can't read, can't write. I was just ready to help them. And that's just how it birthed in me. I just had to go through it. And then when I decided that I was not working anymore, and I start going out seeking service. And then I realized this is what you go through. And I am saying that this has to change. What did we do? Where did we go wrong? What did we not do? This has to change. And then I said, I saw you one day tomorrow. You know the story. I was saying, who's going to do this? I mentioned it to Kevin, certain person, and she said, it could happen. We need it. It's going to take a while and Listen, that while still feels today like it was overnight. Like it's here, I'm doing it, and it blew my mind. And tomorrow, when I saw you one day, I said, it's you, Tamara. You're the one. You're the one I'm going to choose. The Lord is actually choosing. He said, it's you. And you told me to stop by your house, and I did stop. And I remember you saying, Jackie, I think I see it now. I see what you want to do. I'm on board with it. That's how it all started.
Mm-hmm. Jackie and I, we have the same conclusion that we want to get to. We want to make customer service in the Bahamas better. But sometimes, I'll be honest with you guys listening in, sometimes we just have a little bit of a different approach. But at the end of it, it's like we take different paths, but we get back on track into the one direction. Just to give you an idea, when we talk about customer service, Jackie, what would you say to an individual that is providing bad customer service on a job?
I would really, if I'm given the opportunity to speak to that person, I would say to them, okay, just switch sides. What if you were on the other side receiving this? Is that what would you want? What if that person you were giving this bad service to, would you do that to your mother? Would you do it to your children? So why are you doing it to them? Listen, whatever it is that's going on, most times when you see this bad service coming, sometimes we have to try to find out what is going on. So I'll try to find out what's going on. Why are you doing this? And then I think by collaborating and talking about it, we can probably get to what the issue is and try to show them that that person is just as important as you. And what I'm realizing, Tamara, that even through having this show, that the show is helping me as well, because, we are not perfect. But this show is keeping me online because if I'm preaching something, I should be practicing it. So it is so beautiful because now I know that everybody always say that you always have a beautiful smile, but I think the smile is even bigger now. And so I'm so grateful that I am being kept accountable as well.
What I must say, working along with Jackie would be that co-worker that would point out something you're doing wrong. If you weren't giving the service that the customer or the company dictates, she would be that employee to pull you aside. Guys, that employee where you'd be like, she thinks she's a supervisor.
Yes.
But after working with her, you realize, no, she genuinely wants everyone to get the same service. But when I said we take different roads to get to the same path, one of the things I would say to that person that's giving the bad customer service is, do you realize how small our society is? The chances are of you serving that one individual bad, you could be now sitting across from that individual for an interview.
Wow.
You could be now that individual comes to your house and you didn't even realize they know your parents. We have to realize that giving bad service, it's not just the organization. It's not just the uniform you work on. You are your brand. You are representing yourself also, not just that company. And I think bad service, because some people don't have the mindset of just the employee, Jackie. They have to think more of, when I say just the employer, they have to realize that they're representing themselves. And I know one of the things you always say, Jackie, you always take it back to the biblical part of customer service. Remind me of that.
Do unto others as you want others to do unto you. Tamara, something I did when I was always at work, like, as soon as wherever I work, as soon as the doors are open, I am actually on stage. I'm saying 1, 2, 3, action. That's when it starts. I'm on stage because guess what? People are looking and they're watching. Sometimes people get into another job, a better job, you might say, paying more just because of the way they serve. And the employer is going to say, I need you to my workplace. You can just help yourself in so many ways when you just want to serve, because that's what we were put here for. To serve. Let's do it, Bahamas, with pride.
When you said could get you a better job, I got to tell a quick story. I know of a young man that was working at an alarm company, and the owner of a major business, I'm not going to say the name of the business, but a major business, was having difficulties with the alarm, Jackie.
Okay.
And this was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. The young man was at work at the alarm company and said to the owner, after work, I will come there and help you sort it out, because he knew it was just a minor problem, but the owner wasn't able to figure it out.
Right.
So the point is, he took the initiative. He went to that job 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And you know what the owner turned around and said to him?
Tell me. He got a job?
He got a job. Report to me on Monday with your resume and see what I could do for you. So when I say, I'm just reminding people of, you may not even like the organization you're working for, but you have to realize that you're branding yourself. And they don't say, that business was rude, they say that particular individual who worked for that particular company, she or he is rude. He or she doesn't give good customer service. So you're not discrediting the business a lot of times, you're discrediting yourself.
And tomorrow, when you said the gentleman could not operate something that's simple, and that's that we're saying, what is simple to you is only simple because you're doing it over and over again. Just keep that in mind when you are serving people. They are not familiar like you are. So we got to, I mean, that guy actually went over, it kind of reminds you of the story, what I think you did it with, I can call his name Mr. Leslie Miller. When you walk out of the jewelry store, he needed to give you some monies and you walk with him over to the bank. You went above and beyond because guess what? He probably could have flared up. But because you said, I will walk with you. Look here, words have a way of just easing it down and making it so peaceful. We have to learn how to do that. And, we complain all the time, Tamara, about persons that are giving bad service. Just last week, we were talking about service and the young lady, she was sharing and she was saying sometimes, the bad service come because they don't have enough employees, and that could be a reason, but we're not getting the bad service from the person who are thinking about coming to work there. We're getting the bad service from the person who are already employed. And so we have to try and work on their mindset, try and change their mindset so when the new one come, everybody would be on board. And so we have to work with the employees, but most of all, Tamara, we have to work with the managers and the supervisors. And you know what I need to say right here and now? These persons that are working in the Bahamas for us, they are our children. They are our grandchildren. They are our sisters. They are our brothers. They all came from us. So let's serve each other together. Let's just do it right. And I'm not going to stop. Just in case someone is thinking that we're going to get tired of doing this, I'm not going to stop because it has to change from the top. And we're looking for change in every area, whatever you can think. We are looking for change from everywhere. And we are not going to stop because while we are here for a purpose and we are going to do the work that we are put here to do. Are you on board with that tomorrow?
I'm on board with that. But when I say sometimes me and Jackie take a little different road to end up to the same path, I think it's realistic, Jackie, that an obstacle of lack of employees can affect the customer service of an organization. And I know you would say it should not. But Jackie, that's a reality. Sometimes on the job, you are always doing the job of 3 or 4 people, and therefore you are mentally exhausted. And I feel like the organizations need to take responsibility for that in terms of impacting customer service.
Yeah, but let me tell you something with human beings. Even though sometimes we are short staff, yes, and that can slow it down, but that doesn't breed bad service. It can slow down how fast you get service, but that doesn't mean you must roll your eyes, shove your shoulder because you're short staffed today. That's time for you to roll up put on those flat shoes and just start moving around faster. Tamara, I did it. I did it at the counter. I'm serving one and this person is writing and I'm saying, I'm ringing the bell again. Come please. And I'm multitasking. I'm not going to even talk when the manager comes down and try to help because I'm just flying then. So Tamara, it's not about how many people is there. It's about the communication, letting the customers know what is happening, and then let them see a smile on your face. Guess what? They probably put something on the wall, let them WhatsApp on the television. Look here. They actually, when they leave, they're enjoying the whole thing. So that's what I'm talking about.
You know what, Jackie, let's give them the opportunity to fill their cup. You got a taste of what the conversation is about tonight. I'm going to give you time now to fill your cup with whatever you want to fill it with. Get comfy. We're going to take a break here at Table of Change. We'll be back to you in a few and ready to tackle the subject of customer service.
The ZNS Radio Network is the only Bahamian radio network that's heard everywhere in the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands.
From 107.1 in Bimini
To the Light 810 AM
and Power 104.5 in Grand Bahama
to Nassor's Inspiration 107.9 FM.
to the National Voice 1540 AM throughout the Family Islands and into the Turks and Caicos Islands.
The ZNS Radio Network is the only one that brings the best in music.
The latest in news, sports, and weather.
to every settlement in the archipelago and the Turks and Caicos Island.
The ZNS Radio Network.
The only one that's heard everywhere in the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Because isn't that what a real Bahamian radio network should do? 89 years ago, local radio was heard for the first time in this country.
We're coming with almost 9 decades of experienced broadcasting, entertaining, informing, educating, and inspiring generations across the family of islands. Come celebrate with us as we celebrate you. Sunday, May 25th, with a live church service at 11 a.m. at Grace Community Church. And later at 7 p.m. at Southland Cathedral Global Ministries for the Awesome God Concert. Featuring some of your favorite gospel acts, including Simeon Alton, Christopher Roberts, and Shabak. 89 years is a big deal for a big station, and we have so much to thank God for, and we're saying thank you in a big way.
At the count of 3, I want everybody in the place to be to make some noise if you're down with me. 1, 2, 3.
Get ready for some old school. Soca, R&B, and even some down-home banging. Tune into the Earthquake Mix every Thursday and Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 3:45 p.m. And it's only on one station.
1540 AM, the national voice of the Bahamas. The Earthquake. We are simply number one.
89 years ago, local radio was heard for the first time in this country.
Come celebrate with us as we celebrate you.
And we're coming through with almost 9 decades of experience broadcasting,
entertaining, informing, educating, and inspiring generations across the family of islands.
Come celebrate with us as we celebrate you on Sunday, May 25th
at 7 p.m. at Southland Cathedral Global Ministries for the Awesome God Concert.
Featuring some of your favorite gospel acts, including...
Hi, I'm Simeon Alton from Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Shabbat.
Christopher Roberts.
ZMS will be celebrating.
What's up, everybody? I am Stax.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Cara T. Newton here, and I'm gonna be at the Awesome God Concert.
89 years is a big deal for a big station, and we have so much to thank God for.
We've been with you every major event, every moment in history, every storm, every election, every moment that mattered to you.
89 years is a real big deal, and we have so much to thank God for.
And we are grateful to God and country.
There is nothing that I need that he won't supply. There is nothing that I need that he won't provide if I believe.
Civil servants, let's go! Oh yes! This one's for you. Come on! They turn up my water, turn up my light, 'cause little bit of rain did come down last night. So I dial a certain number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The phone just keep on ringing, man, them people full of jive. Now I'm one of them people who like to complain, but when I went down to the office, they try and make me shame. They had workers on the road, 8 men round a hole. Only one man waking, the rest are fool. Where you going, baby? Down the road. Who you waiting for? The government them. What you just do? Sit around. What you waiting for? Baby. Who gave you that job? What time you wake up? What time you get off? Anytime. What time is it now? Let's go! Woo! Yes, man! Go do it! Get to it! Oh, shucks! Woo! Well, you know what to do. road traffic down morning, they get dead at night. Just as I go off, police block up the street. Man, them getting feel up, the women going free. Maggie spot she husband sweetheart on the road one night. She slap her with she left hand and punch her with the right. Patrol car past the scene, you think they would have stopped? They pass right by saying we can't get in that way. Baby, down the road, who you waiting for? Pick up and them, what you just do? Sit around, what you waiting for? Baby, who give you that job? What time you wait stop? What time you get off? Anytime. What time is it now? Let's go! Wake it up! Wake it up! Wake it up! Oh yeah! You gotta put in that full time now. You know what they say. But I like you. Y'all go get yours. Now there are many civil servants who just do their job just right. Just give you friendly service, don't bump you off your flight. They'll work overtime, they'll treat you like a king. But you won't see them strike, you don't let them rush with sting. Where you going, baby? Down the road. Who you waiting for? Pick up and them. What you just do? Sit around. What you waiting for? Who gave you that job? What time you wait stop? What time you get off? Anytime. What time is it now? Let's go! Fix the phone line, fix the phone line, fix the phone line, fix the phone line. Catch your group, catch your group, catch your group, catch your group. Turn on the power, turn on the power, turn on the power, turn on the power. Send the water, send the water, send the water, send the water. Down the road, who you waiting for? Pick up and them. What you just do? Sit around. What you waiting for? Who gave you that job? What time you wait stop?
The views expressed on this show, interview, or program are not necessarily the views expressed by the ZNS Radio Network and by extension, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
We are back. And remember, I just want to repeat those numbers, 325-5403, Family Islands. The best place in my heart, 300-8255. Tune in. We are 104.5 FM, 1540 AM, and 810 The Light. Tamara, you're looking at me. You get something to say after that song. That's a civil song, Tamara.
I think it's so ironic that song played. You know, KB, what my grandma used to say, you shouldn't say this word, but my goodness, did he lie, Jackie? Did he lie?
You know what? The words in those songs, this is what I said, you know, because when that song came out, but I wish I knew the year that came. Because you know what the Bible said, there's power in the tongue. I think by us playing that song, it just came to light. So guess what, KB? We are going to change that song, change those lyrics so that we can change the Bahamas. We're going to speak the words. So there you go, KB. Make a new song and you got it.
But you know what, Jackie? When you say we're going to change the words of that song, how long has it been going on for a civil servant in terms of getting the job from the MP? How could we say that this one year, this one time in our show that we are now going to change that narrative that's been going on from concession with different governments?
Well, as a matter of fact, I really don't have a problem with the MPs getting the job, securing jobs for people, because the jobs that they're securing, they're for our children. I mean, let's be fair. I own a big company. I own BTC, and I'm the CEO. So I'm saying to the human resource, listen, we are going to need we need more technical people. You know, we are growing so much. I need you to hire at least 20 persons. I need that done. Now, I can take it upon myself. If I know 20 people that I know are hard workers, or 20 people, or 5 who I know the family, they need something to do and they can work. Tamara, I am going to call those persons and I'm going to say, listen, send in your resume. Get your resume to me. I'm going to help you with a job. So I absolutely have nothing against the MP trying to help the people in their constituency. They are us. I mean, many of us went through that. Many of us got job from our MP. But I think back in the day, the difference was when an MP gave you a job, you appreciated that so much that you put your head, your toes, your eyes, everything in that job. You want to get there on time. You don't want to leave on time. You're staying back to learn more. You're putting your all into into the job, you're going to work to the best because you do not want word to get back to that MP saying that Jacqueline Fernanda is not doing the job that she's supposed to do. She's not listening. She is rude. She's disobedient. She's not following instruction. You don't want that. You want to make your MP proud. Now, from what I'm hearing, that's probably not happening today.
But you know why, too? I could see, okay, Jackie, I like to speak it into fruition. Mm-hmm. So when I become the Ministress of Education now, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, there's certain people in my constituency that will get jobs. That's a normality, like we both agree on, of life, right? Mm-hmm. But what I think may be happening, and I'm only speculating, I don't have the facts, I've never worked for any government organization. I'm speculating that maybe they're not utilizing the HR department of that organization. So if I'm the Minister of Education and I now have these two people that I want to get employed, I should call that HR person and give them the respect of their post and say, look, I need this person to have a job, but I need you to find where that job is best suited. Because we're not just giving these people a job to give them money, This is our money. Mm-hmm. This is the country's money. This is our money. We can't have it be wasted. We can't have it not utilized in the right position with the right individual. So I think maybe they're just imposing giving the person a job and leaving out the part of get that HR person involved and properly evaluating this person and see where this person can now fit into the organization to highlight what that person brings to the table.
Tamara, because I really think when they give someone a job, they're saying, I can get you the job, but you have to keep it. I'm not going to say much because I see DeAndre Moxie has something to say. Go ahead, DeAndre. Unmute your... Great.
Good night. I had a question for you, Mrs. Moxie. So I heard you basically said that you were the one to go to tell your other coworkers that their customer service wasn't the greatest. Now, we both know that conversation is a very tough conversation to navigate because you might come off as disrespectful. But I want to know, how did you go through those conversations and what was the response that you got from your coworkers?
With speaking to people, you really have to know the individual. So I would not approach just anyone with that. It has to be the right place and the right time because, it's just amazing how you might go to lunch together. And most times this is what happened. They would bring it up to you. They probably would ask you, how did you feel? Did you hear that lady? Did you hear that customer? And then I'm saying, yeah, okay, this is my time. And I could say, you don't even know what that lady went through before she came here. But what I know, for us as employees, we have a standard that's already set. And what is so important is that you don't ever try your best not to let anyone bring you down to their standards. And so I would always look for the opportunity and how I can say that, DeAndre. So I wouldn't just bump in on it, I use wisdom on how I address someone. I hope that answers your question.
Also, I would say, Jackie, after working with you, one of the things that people like when they know that someone is inspecting. Mm-hmm. And even though you weren't holding the title of the supervisor, they know someone is watching. They know someone cares. So I find that working with you, individuals became better because they know you were looking. Mm-hmm. They know you were listening.
That's right.
That's what we go back to when we say in terms of the manager or the supervisor listening mm-hmm. to improve the level of service by now speaking with the employee. So I feel like a lot of times you didn't have to actually point it out because they're like, oh boy, Jackie's looking. Mm-hmm. I know Jackie to say something. Mm-hmm. But then you develop a working relationship where you appreciate each other, which comes with maturity.
Yes.
I would say, DeAndre, a lot of maturity. But after developing that relationship, it made it less now. You have to now come in and say it because you're like, now, Jackie, I know you saw what just happened, but let me tell you my side of the story
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and open the avenue of talking about it.
And talking about that, I actually remember, and I can smile. I'm smiling inside right now because there was a job that I was on, and we were having a meeting in the morning. And I got up and said, I just want to let everybody know that I was actually for the past 2 weeks just watching everyone. I had orders that I watched everyone, and I would take feedback to head office as to what everyone was doing. I think the whole branch probably almost collapsed when I said that. And actually, it was really not the truth. But at that, and I didn't tell them right away, but they were all around, trying to say, because guess what? From the manager down, there were things that they were doing that some people were at work and doing another job at work. So they were like, gee, when did that happen? And so sometimes when people know you are like that, and sometimes they might not like you then, but I'm sure one point in time they would know, or they'll be able to say, Jackie, you really helped me, or DeAndre, you really helped me, or Tamara or Keva, you really helped me. So we have to keep people accountable, because most times, persons don't realize what they're doing and how it's coming out of their mouth, like what they're saying. And so sometimes you have to tell them, like, you're saying the right thing, but you just need to say it in a little better tone. That's all. And sometimes I know people have to tell me that. They say, you talk so loud. So when I'm talking like right now, I'm pulling back my voice because I don't want to sound like I'm angry. I'm just someone who has a lot of passion. So that's how we have to deal with stuff like that.
Jackie, I remember hearing a comment back in the show in terms of now trying to, kind of evaluating where we come from, where we're going in terms of the show. And I've always been reminded of how many moving parts it is to improving this customer service. We talk about, the silver servant. We talk about branding yourself. But Jackie, let's bring it back to what you and I came to the evaluation of in terms of the home. What part does the home play in terms of customer service? I just want to share one quick story. I remember having a summer student came in, and I was in my office and I was trying to print off something. She sat right next to the printer, Jackie. Mm-hmm. And I said to her, bring those papers for me when it's done. She said, okay. She never came with the papers. I yelled back to her the papers. She said, oh, it's not printing. Jackie, I had to tell her, could you check the printer for me and see why it's not printing? She sat back down, no response. 10, 15 minutes later, I said, hey, what's going on with the printer? She said, oh, it didn't have any paper. Of course, I'm distracted, Jackie, by what I'm doing. So another few minutes passed by, and I come out the office and I said, where are the prints? She said, oh, it didn't have any paper. So I said, you didn't get the paper? She said, no, I didn't know where it is.
Right. And you said she was a trainee?
She was a summer student, but she was a college-educated young lady. She was on the job. But that small thing brings me back to the home and the part we are playing in the home in terms of the type of employee that's on the job. The reason I say that, I equate that to you send your child to get the mop. The child doesn't come back with the mop. They just get to sit down, Jackie, and watch TV and don't tell you what happened to the mop.
Yes, and before I continue, because we know we always like to get the Zoom questions, we're going to let Ms. Robinson have a question or a comment.
Okay, my comment, I think I was just piggybacking on the caller before, just asking how did Ms. Moxie deal with that customer service matter. My question to both you guys is, do you think people in customer service positions are truly trained or just hired and put on the floor?
You want to take, I'll take that. From what we are getting, I don't think they are trained. And if they're not trained, maybe on the job training, like in the position training, then they have to have someone there with them to guide them through, to really watch them, to keep them accountable. But I don't think they're trained.
Yeah.
Tamara, what do you think?
I think they are trained, but I think on the job training becomes a part because they're trained one way by HR or the training manager of how it should be done. Then they're placed in the business where the employee that's worked there for 15 years doesn't have good customer service, and they're watching that. They're also watching now that the manager or the supervisor doesn't now correct this person in the bad service. So they have the textbook training, but they don't see it being played out in the fruition, and therefore they don't see the need for it.
Yeah, so
what I
maybe
think.
they're trained with
The technical, they're
part, but
training
not
on their
the
job, but not
service.
the service part, and that's where the
Mm-hmm.
problem or the challenge arise, because they're trained basically for their jobs, what they're hired to do, and not trained for, okay, a part of your job is giving service, good service. And I think that's where we're missing, and that's where the challenge becomes, because it's just their jobs. They're focused on more on their jobs, and some, quite frankly, people actually just say that, listen, this is not my job to be buddy with anybody coming here or whatnot. My job is to just give them this form, and they go ahead.
So I think this could bring me right back to the question that you were saying, Tamara, about home, people being trained at home. That is really important for parents to really give their children a spiritual foundation and a foundation of how they should carry themselves. And because we have that with children, you send them to the cupboard, like you say, Tamara, and say, bring the broom, and they look at one place for the broom. Now, the broom might not be exactly there, but it's in the kitchen. So we have to tell them, listen, don't just look one. I told my children that before. Don't just look one place. Look in all the corners so you could see if you see the broom before you come back to me. And so we have to tell our children these things. It starts from home. We all know that. And I think that's where we have the problem today. Tomorrow, now that you're saying that, I have a list of the different generations, right? The traditional list, they're saying that those people are born between 1925 and 1945. The baby boomers, they are born between 1946 and 1964. Generation X, they are born 1965, that's me, to 1980. The millenniums, they are born 1981 to 2000. And Gen Z, Generation Z, they are born 2001 to 2020. Now, just like my mother would have told me, back in the day, when I send you for something, don't just look one place for it, look all the place. Are we teaching the Gen Zs that? Because somehow when I talk to persons, they're making it seem like, this generation, how they don't like to work. They just like to sleep, and they don't like to stay on the job long. But is it really just the generation? Does the year that they born has a lot to do with them? Or is it we are not training them the way we were trained? What's causing it, Tamara? What do you think that's causing the difference?
As a person with a big age gap between the two children, they stronger but they weaker, Jackie. They stronger but they weaker. and anyone that has children or they're going through this, I still think we can't let them just get away with thinking that way. We have to go back to the old school way of doing things and not thinking that it's out of date. Because somehow manners and discipline and expectations, these are things that cannot be out of date. No matter how much laptops and computers that we create, these children still need those foundations.
Yes, they really do need the foundation. But what I realized too, that it does not end with the parent though. Yes, we have some who don't give it, but it doesn't end there. And Tamara, you said something that they are weaker, wiser, but weaker. But that does not change the way we ought to train them, because the Bible does say, train up a child in the way they should go, and they should not stray from that. What I'm trying to say is the Gen Zs, God created them the same way he created us. And so, therefore, it is important that we really try to train these kids. But just in case, all of the parents, they're not going to do it. The grandparents probably not there. So just in case they miss out on that, I'm still saying the teachers now have a chance to be a part in someone's life. And that's what we're here for. If someone miss out, that doesn't mean that we must let this child go. The teachers now, they still have a chance, because now they're going to school and they're going through the hands of the teacher. We are hoping that someone will touch them to get them and teach them the things that they miss from home. And then even if they miss it from home and they miss it from school, Then they have the high school that they can, it's, I know it's going to be more difficult, but sometimes the kids are going to connect with someone that